Hello, good day. Ang next topic natin for living in the IT era are this topic, the netiquette and the computer ethics. So what is netiquette? Netiquette refers to the internet guidelines that advise people on how to communicate and treat others when interacting online. So these guidelines can apply to multiple aspects of internet, such as emails, message forums, and video chats. So ito yung mga etiquette on using the internet or the networks. So the importance of practicing etiquette. So practicing etiquette can be important for strengthening your online reputation. Potential employers often research job candidates, and they might be more likely to hire someone who treats others with respect. Siyempre nga, hindi naman sila kukuha ng empleyado na hindi sumusunod, hindi gumagawa ng tama, hindi ah, sum- nagpapakita ng mabuting tao. So, nakalagay nga sa mga job requirements, di ba? Pleasing personality. So, kailangan i-build mo yung iyong portfolio, your biodata, or rather yung resume, di ba? So, you need to practice etiquettes, lalo na din sa paggamit ngayon, since most of your personality is on the internet. So, yung mismong identity mo is nakikita na online. It is also valuable to practice netiquette so you can communicate effectively with people like coworkers, classmates, or teachers through online platforms. So even when your friends and family included yun. So we use internet and social media na lagi, di ba? So most of our communication is through online. So we don't talk much about face to face with other people. So, mas kailangan nating i-practice ano yung dapat na etiquette na ginagamit while using social media and the internet. So, here are some 10 rules for practicing etiquette. Number one is practice using empathy. Empathy involves practicing patience and understanding when interacting with others. So, empathy is a mixture of understanding and putting uh, yourself on one's shoes. Lalo na dun sa sasendan mo ng message or kakausapin mo online. Because sometimes we might send inappropriate messages na hindi kayang i-accept ng mga makaka-receive. That's why madalas tayong mabaras online, di ba? Either sa mga content creator, backlash, or mga nababash yung kadalasan. Even bashing is not that empathy, di ba? So, for example, if someone says something to you or disagree with you, you can practice empathy by listening actively and asking respectful questions to better understand their point of view. So, ang mahalaga dito is point of view ng bawat isa. Hindi yung point of view nyo lang. Di ba? So, when you are telling the world on something you want to post or something you want to comment, so kung mababasa yan ng mga tao sa paligid or sa online, lalo na public commentary or kung ano man, isipin mo yung point of view nila. Okay? Kasi once na ipinost mo yung isang message or sinend mo sa mga receiver mo, isipin mo kung ano yung may iisip nila before you send that message. Because when you don't accept kung ano yung magiging reply nila or mararamdaman nila, di ba? Doon tayo magkakagulo. So, it is possible enough na magalit sila o magalit ka sa reaction nila. Again, lagi na lang tayo nagagalit sa mga reaction ng mga tao because we don't uh, consider the point of view kung ano man yung nabasa nila, na-receive nila, napanood nila, and so on and so forth. So that's why we get mad or we get angry to each other because of something we post online. Diba? Number two is use a friendly tone. Using a kind tone is important for conveying respect online. Tone refers to how your message sounds to your recipient, including your word choice and syntax. If you're messaging someone online, try to use a kind tone to show that you respect their opinion. Use phrases like please and thank you. So sometimes, pag nag-send tayo ng mga message, madalas ay ano na, concise or let's say konyo. Pinuputol na natin yung mga messages into short words such a way na gets na nila yun. But sometimes there are people that sometimes small words are not enough, diba? So sometimes when you instruct or command people to do things for you, basta sinabi mo na lang, 'di ba? Sinend mo na lang yung command without saying please or using respectful commands, 'di ba? You request something but your choice of words are demanding. So as much as possible, use a friendly tone in such a way that they will not be intimidated by the words you use on your messages, 'di ba? And sometimes using friendly tone lalo sa mga content creators, mas nakakaengganyo, 'di ba? Kaysa naman yung puro sigaw, puro harsh words, 'di ba? Sino ba namang gustong makinig sa mga masasakit sa tenga mga sinasabi, 'di ba? Number 3 is use respectful language. So almost the same with number 2. It's important to use respectful language when communicating with others online because people may evaluate how you treat them based on how you speak to them. For example, you might use casual language while talking to a coworker online, but you might use more formal, respectful language when speaking with a manager online. So dito, naka-base naman sa yung closeness at saka sa pagiging informal or formal setting noong communication ninyo with one another. Lalo na kung barkada mo, di ba? Bardagulan kung bardagulan. Pero pag teacher or mga merong authority against you, yung kakausapin or sasendan mo ng message, you must be formal, di ba? So you need to address them formally and use the words professionally as much as possible. Respect kung ano man yung dapat i-respect sa tao. Kahit pa kung sino yan, kahit di mo kakilala, di ba? So, hindi ka basta dapat mag-send na lang ng message na disrespecting one another because it will backfire on you, di ba? You will have some backlash about how you send those message, di ba? So, as much as possible, maintain kung ano man yung formality ng iyong pamamaraan sa pagsasend ng mga messages or mga posts online. Number 4 is send message if appropriate. It's important to send an appropriate amount of or number of messages or emails to people online. For example, you might send only work-related messages to your coworkers or send only school-related messages to your classmates or teachers. People might appreciate it if you only send a few chats, messages, or emails within a specific time frame, such as once a day or whenever necessary or appropriate. Ba? Kasi lalo na sa within specific time frame, pag tulog na yung tao, hindi niya na mababasa yan, mabubugulat na lang siya. Or sometimes, masarap na yung tulog, biglang sunod-sunod yung tunog ng notification sa cellphone, nakakasira ng tulog. Diba? Or kung alam mong office hours, 'di ba? Tapos you will call or you will send inappropriate messages for that time. So nakaka-distract. So as much as possible, find a possible time that nagumagayak pa lang yung tao or nagpapahinga na pero hindi pa tulog. Ganun. So doon ka mag-send ng mga mahaba or makipagkwentuhan within appropriate time. Weekends, ganun. Also, yung pagse-send mo ng sandamakmak na message porket hindi pa nagre-reply, pwede mong gawin yan sa love life mo, pero, di ba? Pero kung mga medyo nakaka-irita din kadalasan na napakaraming message ang kailangan mong i-backread para lang maintindihan na kailangan mong mag-reply, di ba? Bako sana kung important or emergency yung mga sinasend mo, pero kung nonsense naman, kung papansin ka lang, as much as possible, limitahan nyo lang yung pagsasend ng mga walang lamang message o mga no thoughts. Kumaga. Number 5 is check for grammar mistakes. Checking for grammar or spelling mistakes is important for being professional online, lalo na sa mga pagpo-post ninyo because sometimes yung paggamit nyo lang ng simple error, simple grammar ay nababatikos na kayo, diba? Or sometimes possible magkaroon ng grammatical error or let's say misunderstanding. So for example, if you need to message your coworkers on an online forum, consider proofreading your message for errors and typos before you send it. You can also read your message aloud or use grammar checking software to make sure you notice potential writing mistakes. Lalo sa mga nagsisend ng mga uh, essays, assignments, letters, mga reports, thesis, researches, di ba? Importante yung nagpo-proofread ka before you send your work to your supervisor, even sa teacher. Diba? Hindi yung basta nag-type ka lang, nagsulat ka lang, nag-send ka na, basta. Make sure you double check what you are going to send and post online. Number 6, respect other people's privacy. So, this is, may batas na against this, di ba? Valuing people's privacy online is important when using the internet. So whether you're speaking to people on social media, messaging your classmates, or emailing your coworker, you can respect other people's privacy by asking permission before sharing their information or posting anything about them or with them in it, including photos or videos. Diba? Yung iba, karamihan sa mga Pilipino ay natutuwa kapag nakikita nilang na ipopost sila sa mga content. Pero, depending on the scenario or situation. And sometimes, lalo sa mga foreigners, they are not fond of being posted online without being compensated. Di ba? So, dapat ay sila ay binibigyan ng permiso. Or when you post online something na maraming mukha ang nakikita, sometimes you should blur them. Diba? Para, lalo na kung wala kang permission na i-post yung pagmumukha nila or yung kung ano man yung meron sa kanila, kung information nila, di ba? Kasi may batas na against invading some privacy, di ba? So yes, we have the freedom of expression or we're free to do anything as long as we are responsible enough that we must consider other people. Okay? So respect other people. Number 7, ensure messages are clear. Being clear on your communication can help people properly interpret your message online. Ito nga yung sa nagkakaroon tayo ng misunderstanding or we don't understand each other at all. You may try writing simple sentences and defining unfamiliar words or acronyms in your writing. So, the recipient can understand your message clearly, lalo na kung magkaiba kayo ng generation. Magkaiba yung boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, or millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. Diba? Meron tayong different coined words for each generation or mga slang. And sometimes, different generations doesn't understand. Or sometimes, kahit ka-generation nyo na, hindi kayo nagkakaintindihan kasi hindi sila sanay gamitin yung mga slang na yun or mga acronyms. Diba? Karamihan sa mga generations ngayon ay mga hindi magagaling makapag-communicate. Parang half of you ay nakatago lang, browse lang, yan, hindi nakikipag-communicate, or games lang. Ang alam lang ay mga trash talks, or diba, sa mga games na nilalaro ninyo. But, messaging people online, diba? As much as possible, clear dapat yung message ninyo. Sometimes, yung asawa ko, ganyan, example lang. Mahilig siyang mag-send ng putol-putol na message and sometimes kulang sa details. So that's why I keep asking for those details. Diba? Kasi kung ano man yung request niya sometimes, hindi ko nagagawa because there are lacking details. Sometimes hindi niya gusto yung ano to? Yung mga naibibigay ko sa kanya because the details are missing. Kung ano man yung sinabi niya sa akin through text or chat. Diba? As much as possible, complete the details, be concise in some messages. And sometimes, yung reply is overlapping. Diba? Kapag putol-putol yung message, line lang yung nare-replyan mo, and then yun, yung ibang parts ay late ng na-replyan, gano'n. So, sometimes nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding. So, magkabaliktad kami na ako yung concise mag-send ng message that umaabot ng isang paragraph yung reply ko. Kaya medyo mabagal din. Mabilis siya mag-reply because line by line siya nagsasend ng message. Yun. So, ganun lang. So, as much as possible, be clear on each of the messages that you send. So, that's why linawin nyo lagi. Okay? Simple misunderstanding leads to chaos. Number 8 is create posts that are appropriate. Creating appropriate online posts is important for your netiquette or for netiquette because your posts can contribute to your online image. Kung may inalagaan kang good public image, you need to consider kung ano din yung mga pinopost mo online. Diba? Kung makakasira ba yan sa image mo on publicly. Diba? Consider posting things about yourself that help maintain a positive image and that are appropriate for a professional setting. So as much as possible, since most of the people will see kung ano man yung ipopost mo online, diba? Almost all of the world na mayroong cellphone, may internet connection would see your post, lalo na kung naka-public yan. So as much as possible, proofread that, make it appropriate, and as much as possible, help that, make it sure that it will help your public image. Kasi kung puro, ayan, dati yung mga post ni Toro Family, di ba? Puro rated something, di ba? Hindi pang minor. Kahit na may kasama silang minor doon, yung anak nila, di ba? So yung mga usapan is medyo below the belt or at least masakit sa tengang pakinggan, medyo vulgar. So it adds to their public image that they are that people, di ba? So yun. 9. Respond to emails on time. Checking emails regularly and respond to them in a timely manner is important because people often use email to communicate ideas and share information with others quickly. So, check your messages regularly and respond to them. So, yun, gawain din ng mga teachers nyo na check whenever possible. So for example, a manager could send important work information to their employees as a mass email, or if email is your primary mode of communication, you could prioritize responding to your emails by setting a reminder each day and read and reply to your emails. So mostly naman sa atin ay GC or sa Teams. So from time to time, I am checking Teams, and whenever hawak ko ang cellphone ko, I am checking messages. So yeah. So and make sure you give time to reply as soon as possible. Di ba? Pero sometimes kasi in, consistent na lagi nating hawak yung cellphone, lalo na mga estudyante. Di na nagbibigay ng time for rest. Reply kung reply, di ba? Iinto ang ginagawa, basta lang mag-reply. Sometimes when you're doing important things, and yun nga, lalo na kung nagluluto ka, bitawan mo muna cellphone. Diba? Respond on time and a proper time actually. Kung may ginagawa ka, prioritize mo muna. Pero kung importante yung message, kung nakita mo namang importante, di replyan mo. Pero kung mas importante yung ginagawa mo kaysa dun sa chismis, tapusin mo muna yung ginagawa mo para wala ka ng problema mamaya. Number 10, read content thoroughly. Ito kadalasang problema ng ilan. Reading messages or comments thoroughly is essential for understanding what others are trying to communicate to you. So whether you're replying to a discussion post for an online class or answering a coworker's question on your company's messaging app, try to read comments carefully to ensure that you understand the content of a message before you reply. Hindi yung basta run ka na ng run, hindi mo naman naintindihan kung anong topic ng mga post. Diba? So this can also help you write messages that fully address the recipient's comments and questions. So para nagkakaintindihan kayo Basahin mo ng maigi. Next, we have the cybercrimes. Cybercrime, also called computer crime. The use of a computer as an instrument to further illegal ends, such as committing fraud, trafficking in child pornography, and intellectual property, stealing identities, and violating privacy. Cybercrime, especially through the internet, has grown in importance as the computer has become central to commerce, entertainment, and government, and education. Yeah. So the types of cybercrimes: identity theft and invasion of privacy. So when criminals steals a firm's credit card records, they produce two distinct effects. First, they make off with digital information about individuals that is useful in many ways. Second, they make use individual credit cards, names, and numbers to create new identities for other criminals to use for their other criminal activities. So, yan. Kaya importante yung uh, alagaan nyo yung inyong mga records. Okay? So, cyberbullying naman is mental abuse of victims using threats and harassments online. So, yung mga nagtotroll, yung mga nang babash online. So, ano na, borderline cyberbullying yun. Then we have cyber libel. It's also known as online defamation libel. This is involved attacking individuals or organizations' reputations. So, paninirang puri. This can be done through disinformation or yung deliberate distribution of inaccurate information. So, sinasadya, or misinformation, mistaken distribution of inaccurate information. Ito naman nyo, hindi sinasadya. So, pagkakamali lang. We have internet fraud. Receiving an unsolicited email or visiting a random web page is sufficiently different than many people easily opening their wallets. Lalo sa mga na ano kayong websites na redirect kayo, tapos akala nyo yun na yung inihintay nyong webpage na bubukas, pero hihingan kayo ng mga information, doon kayo na scam. We have internet fraud. Criminals have developed means to intercept both the data on the card magnetic strip as well as the user's PIN. So yun yung mga card skimmers. The information is used to create fake cards that are then used to withdraw funds from the unsuspecting individual's account. So pag na-scan yung cards ninyo at saka yung PIN na save doon sa skimmer, madalang naman ako makakita ng ganun. Pero kadalasan sa mga POS machines, yun. Wire fraud: never wire money to a stranger. Once you wire cash, especially overseas, it's virtually impossible to reverse the transaction or trace the money because mga offshore accounts, di ba? Pag nagsisend kayo ng pera, mahirap nang bawiin kapag nabogus kayo or pag nag-online selling or online buying kayo. Yan, mahirap. File sharing and privacy. So, yung mga nag-download ng mga illegal acts of distributing and or reproduction of digital files that is traded over the internet. These files include digital books, movies, PC games, hack softwares, and music, and others. So ito yung mga crack version ng mga software, yung mga games din na crack version lang, or mga pirated na so yun. So mga nagpo-post din ng mga movies online sa mga telegrams, sometimes ganon, send sa mga nakasave na sa Google Drive nila. Tapos send na lang yung links pero magbayad ka muna. Ayan. So the distribution and reproduction, yun yung nababatas. Pero yung pag-consume, hindi kasi nag-ano ka na eh. Kung nagko-contribute ka lang, tsaka magbabayad. Yun. Counterfeiting and forgery. Counterfeiting and forgery are crimes of deceit where the criminal acts involves tricking another person into receiving property that appears from trustworthy sources but is actually an imitation. So ito yung mga bogus sellers and yun mostly. So yung mga fake ang mga expectation versus reality. Or sometimes ibang product talaga yung sinesend or sometimes hindi product yung sinesend ng mga sellers. Yeah. Then child pornography unlawfully exploits children for sexual stimulation. Images of children under age 18 engage in sexual behavior. Sa Pilipinas, alam ko illegal din ang porn, lalo na kung bata, di ba? So yun. Hacking, the act of compromising digital device and networks through unauthorized access to an account or computer system. So, hacking na kasama yung pag bukas mo ng cellphone ng may cellphone, hacking yun. Lalo na kung alam mo yung password tapos may pinakailaman kang files, that is hacking. Computer viruses, the deliberate release of damaging computer viruses. So, mostly hindi naman na problema ang viruses ngayon kasi wala na masyadong uh, ano to, loophole or bugs sa mga antivirus. Yan. Medyo strong na yung protection ng mga cellphones and computers and laptops. Denials of service attack. Nangyari to sa ibang schools and sa ibang agencies. A denial of service attack, DOS attack, is a cyber attack in which the perpetrator seeks to make a machine or network resource unavailable to its intended users by temporarily or indefinitely disrupting services of a host connected to a network. So, parang ino-overwhelm nila yung system. Kaya yung mga clients or mga customers ay hindi maka-access sa mismong network or sa mismong portal, ganun, for example. So, because there are a lot of traffic na nangyayari sa network nila, yun, nagkakaroon ng denial of service para sa mga intended users. Spam, steganography, and email hacking. Spam is legitimate. No, it is a crime against all users of the internet since it wastes both storage and network capacities of the internet service providers. So, yung mga napupunta lang sa mga spam mails natin or spam messages, diba? So, sometimes ang laman nun ay mga phishing messages. Yeah, example. Sabotage, another type of hacking, involves the hijacking of a government or corporation website using the internet to attack the infrastructure of a nation by rerouting airline traffic. Nangyari sa 9/11 sa Twin Towers sa New York, contaminating the water supply or disabling nuclear plant safeguards. So, sabotage. Sometimes, merong industrial sabotage or manufacturing sabotage, corporate sabotage. Ganun. Yung pag-hack sa mga system ng mga companies and then stealing information or deleting information, that is sabotage. Kahit yung sa mga pag-delete ng mga security footage, that is sabotage. Phishing, act of sending email that purports to be from a reputable source such as the recipient's bank or credit card provider and that seeks to acquire personal or financial information. Phishing hindi lang sa email, pati sa text, di ba? May mga nagsisend ng fake na messages sa inyong mga number, lalo na kung sometime na laman na nila yung number ninyo when you log in to such websites. Nagbigay kayo ng information mo and then malalaman na nila na active yung number mo, they will send phishing messages or sometimes sa email mo. Yan. Napapunta ito kadalasan sa mga spam mails. So what are the web threats? Internet-based threats or online threats are a category of cybersecurity risks that may cause an undesirable event or actions via internet. So example ng web threats, yung WannaCry ransomware on May 2017. The WannaCry ransomware spreads to many networks and locked down countless Windows PCs. This threat was particularly dangerous because of its worm functionality, allowing it to spread completely autonomously. Once na nabuksan mo yung isang file or nag-run yung folder na yon or yung app or yung executable file, so papunta na siya sa mga opened na or may access, nagra-run ng mga folders sa inyong computer. And hindi mo basta-basta madidelete lahat ng mga infected files. Then we have celebrity iCloud phishing. A spear phishing attack led to a breach of numerous celebrity iCloud accounts. This breach ultimately resulted in an authorized leak of countless private photos from these accounts. So yung mga private photos ng mga celebrity, lalo na sa mga storage ng kanilang iPhones. Yan. Nagkaroon ng phishing attack. That's it for this session. So The next topic would be for final terms na. So this is your end for midterms.